Hey everyone, welcome to my review of the Logitech G502 Hero. I got this mouse for a really good deal for only $38 on Amazon during Amazon Prime Day, and the mouse just arrived yesterday. So in this video, I'm going to be covering my first impressions on this mouse, its features and all that good stuff, and my final thoughts about this mouse at the end of this video. And if you enjoyed this video or simply find it helpful and want to see more content like this, you can always feel free to subscribe at any time. With that said, let's get into it. So in the box you get the mouse itself, the manual and setup instructions, the weights you can add onto the mouse, and a sticker. The Logitech G502 mouse has a 1000 Hz pulling rate and weighs roughly 120 grams without additional weights. So let's start off with the buttons on this mouse. Near the left button of this mouse there are two buttons labeled G7 and G8, which are set by default to adjust the DPI of the mouse, but you can change this later on in the software, which you can download from Logitech's website, but I'll cover that later on in this video. Next, there's a smaller button labeled G9, which is used to switch onboard profiles within the Logitech software, but it's not going to matter now until we download the software. In addition, the scroll wheel could be used to push left or right or to the middle. And then finally we have the scroll wheel lock button, which can unlock or lock the scroll wheel. If you push it down, it will enable infinite scroll wheel, which is a pretty handy feature, which I'll talk about later on in this video. And then if you click it again, it will just become a normal scroll wheel. Finally, and most importantly, we have the two side mouse buttons, which are labeled G5 and G4. They are by default set to forward and backward, but just like the other buttons, you can program them to do different things or macros in the Logitech G Hub software. And then we have a sniper button where you put your thumb on. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you press on it, it lowers the DPI to only a few hundred, which could help you in shooting games or FPS games. But once you release the sniper button, it will revert back to the original DPI before you pressed it. Now on the exterior of the mouse, we have some nice rubber grips, the one where you put your thumb in and the other one where you put your ring finger and pinky. When we flip the mouse over onto its back, there's a cover on its back that you can actually lift off, and inside that opening you can insert those weights. Each of them are 3.6 grams. It can fit up to all 5 weights if you insert it in the formation as shown in this video. But once you're done, you can grab the lid and put it back on very easily. It's magnetic, by the way, so that's pretty convenient. Now with that said, let's plug this mouse into the computer. Okay, so now I've plugged in the mouse into my computer, and this is what the glowing looks like. Of course, this is not the default lighting style. You can change that in the Logitech G Hub software. So head over to the description down below and click on the link where it takes you to Logitech G Hub. You're going to need to download this in order to adjust the lighting effects on the Logitech G502. Now click download for Windows or click download for Mac OS if you're on Mac. I already installed this, so I don't have to do it again, and the installation is very simple. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I'll just open up the software right now since I already have it installed. And it's going to show this when you first load it up. Of course, you're going to have to plug in the mouse in order for this to show up, and you want to go ahead and click on this mouse. Now if you have multiple Logitech mice or Logitech devices, you may see multiple, but you want to click on the G502 Hero. Now it's going to take you to here. Now you want to click on light sync right down here. Now go to effect, and by default it'll probably be cycle. As you can see, it's going to change from orange to red and then green over here, but the logo isn't really going to change, so you want to go to logo and then adjust the effect right here, and this now changes the color. So as you can see, the logo and this part right here is both changing in color. This is the cycling effect right here. You don't have to use this one, there's many others. For example, I could try to use breathing for the logo. It fades out and then fades in. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can program the mouse buttons on the G502 Hero. Now you want to click on that and then head over to the assignments tab, and right over here, these are what the buttons are set to do by default when you first use this mouse. Now over on this left hand corner, we could see that we could program these buttons to different commands, macros, system functions, actions, like you can open certain programs. Now to change the mouse button function, you want to select it, make sure it's highlighted in blue. I'm going to program the G9 button for this video, and as you can see, you can also disable the options. So if you don't want the mouse button to do anything, maybe like when you're playing a game you don't want to accidentally press it, that might be useful. But I'm going to set it back to default, but I'm going to highlight this and change it to minimize all windows. You just want to click that and it's going to set it to minimize all windows. Now in case if you messed up or you didn't set it to something you liked, you can just click use default and it'll set to the default option. Another thing is that you can also click on this arrow thing, and there's even more buttons on this page you can customize, like the forward and back side mouse buttons and the DPI shift button. Maybe you could program this to something else if you don't really use the sniper button that much. I'm going to leave these three default for now. I'm not going to touch those. In addition to that, we can also change what the DPI is once you hit the sniper button, if you're going to use DPI shift as the function of the button. So you want to head over to the sensitivity tab, and you want to look for the sensitivity that's highlighted in yellow and with this diamond right here. This is what the sensitivity will be when you hold the sniper button. As you can see, I'm holding it right now, and it's setting it to 350 DPI, which is noticeably less sensitive compared to 1250 DPI. If you want to change your DPI speed when you hit the sniper button, you can drag the slider to whichever DPI you wish. I'm going to leave it as 300. To change the DPI to the ones that you're more comfortable with, just click on this one, and I'm used to 1250 for just like normal browsing and stuff like that. And you can also customize these two as well. You can also drag this out, and as you can see, there's a trash can showing up, so delete the DPI profile. In case if you accidentally deleted it and you want it back, you can just click restore default settings. Now let's get into some gaming with the Logitech G502 mouse. Personally, my experience was very comfortable and I got used to the mouse very quickly. The mouse never really slipped out of my hand, so the rubber grips were pretty nice. So this mouse is definitely great for competitive gameplay or esport titles like Fortnite, Valorant, or Warzone. Although it weighs just over 100 grams, it definitely felt a lot lighter compared to my other budget mice that I used to use. So overall, the experience of gaming with this mouse is definitely better than if you were to game on those budget $20 mice or those $10 mice, especially comparing to brands that are not very popular like Red Dragon. Now this video has mostly been focused on the good things about this mouse, and I really haven't talked about the drawbacks of it. Now to be honest, I don't really have any complaints about this mouse at all. I know a bunch of other YouTubers complain about this mouse, whether they say that some other mice are lighter than this one's considerably more heavy, or the cable is just not as good compared to other mice. However, none of this really affected me, and if you're going to make a jump from a $20 gaming mouse or even a $10 budget gaming mouse to this $38 mid-range gaming mouse, then these cons may not really affect you that much, if not at all. However, one thing that some of you guys might care about is the weight. Like I said earlier in this video, this mouse isn't the lightest one in its price range. There are other gaming mice that are even more lightweight than this one, such as the Razer Basilisk version 2. So unless you have very high standards or you really want a lightweight mouse, then this isn't a very big deal. In addition to that, the software is very well optimized. The red color on the Logitech G502 definitely syncs very well with the red glowing lights from my keyboard and the mouse pad. Overall, I think this is a great $38 gaming mouse, and I would certainly recommend to anyone who has never really owned a mid-range gaming mouse. So if you're a person who has always used those budget $20 mice, and if you never tried $40 mice before, then this is definitely a one that will satisfy you. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in my next one.